Well, good morning, folks. This is Shippy the Explorer welcoming you to another great video, an interesting topic today. um, I, I welcome you and say thanks for being with us every time that I put out the video, and trust that you are being informed of what we're talking about. Um, I do not take your support lightly, and I always want to say, wish you that you are doing the best in health and spirit as each day as we come across with these videos. You know, I've eventually lived in, where I live is, I would regard as maybe a middle class neighborhood. And I personally know, and my wife knows, the toil and the hours of work, and she's still working, and I'm here going about blogging around. But we know how we have struggled, and we have worked hard to reach where we are in this neighborhood. And it's a lovely place to live. It's as you can see, the trees and the size homes and the comfort that we have. We really appreciate how we have achieved these things, but we don't take them lightly, because I personally I'm aware that other people are struggling in this world. And as an explorer, that's the series that I want to take on this morning, whether it's a one video or 2 videos or 3 videos. But I want to talk about home, where the saying is, where your heart lies, that is home. And whether it's small or large or medium or old or new, modern, with all the amenities of life, that's home to you. But sometimes you might be in a space that you're not comfortable, and I explore and wonder what happens, what is going through the minds of those of us who have worked and reached a good standard of living, but suddenly fall off and into a situation where you are struggling again. And that's an unfortunate situation, but I sympathize with you, and I wish that you can pick yourself up again and get back into a livelihood that is productive and happy and free will. And so that's what we are exploring. Where the heart lies, that is home. Whether small or large, whether dilapidated or out in the woods. And we're going to bring you that the varied aspect of how people live, even in a society like United States, where it's varied. Some people are homeless. It's a homeless problem in this country, as rich as we are. And there is also, when you see some of the mansions that some of us live in, you wonder, what are we doing with those spaces? Even myself, I have seemed to be having space. As the kids that move out, we seem to be having space that is not being used. But so that's the wonder. So Shippy the Explorer, I'm gonna take you on this series, folks, where we talk about the home. And you can see from this neighborhood, it's quite a lovely neighborhood, and it's quiet apart from the traffic that's you can hear on the highway. And so I take you on this series and trust that you'll somewhat enjoy the ride, but also give you something to think about in maybe possible helping to alleviate some of the bad conditions that you see. And then also, if you see the great structures, you wonder how we have reached there and what we are doing to alleviate others in the society. So we see you in a minute. Shippy the Explorer coming to you. So we live in a society where there are large homes, small homes, and smaller, older structures, but they are well cared for and beautiful, even in the small sizes. And most of these homes were built in the 40s and 50s after World War I to accommodate the influx of soldiers coming back from not World War I, but World War II. And and they were designed that 1 or 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms structures. So, but they're quite comfortable. But there's one home that I particularly want to bring to our attention, and even this home, it's a 2-bedroom house, 2-bedroom upstairs, and believe it or not, we almost bought it, folks. My daughter almost bought it. So how quaint is this house, and how lovely. But it's home. It's home. It's has a lot of yard space, and it looks looks good. Yeah, the persons who have bought it recently have fixed it up. So their heart is there, and and I'm sure they're comfortable in that space. So that's what it is. It's varied. So these are homes, and but turn back, we can show you more of the neighborhood. So that's an upgrade to even the garden is beautiful at this time of the year because it's springtime. And across from the home we have the protective trees which doesn't do much to keep the noise, the traffic noise, from affecting the neighborhood. And that's there again. If you're very influential, then you are able to get get more money spent on your neighbor, where you can make yourself more comfortable. So we are exploring a little bit more the neighborhood, and we're talking about home, space that we live in, how varied it is. Some of it, how extraordinarily wealthy and structured, and some of it is dilapidated and undeveloped. The neighborhood has an expansion of woods and greenbelt park. So we're Shippy the Explorer. We're exploring around the neighborhood to see if we can find areas or structures that people live in. So let's explore on this bridge that I know. Maybe we might be just lucky to see if it's being used as home. So a lot of times we know that in a society where some folks have a hard time to cope, they tend to live under the bridge. So we're exploring this possibility that somebody might be living under this bridge. And this one is River Road. Yes. So this bridge runs along River Road, and the Indian Creek River gets bigger at this stage. So sometimes people live up in the along the trusses of the bridges, and luckily we don't see that happening today. As you can see, the river is it's getting bigger and bigger at this stage. Indian Creek turns into the Anacostia River. So luckily, this is good reporting that don't see any homelessness or where someone lives under this section. So that's good news, folks. So Shippy the Explorer will continue to search. But even although we don't have homelessness, but you see certain artwork, we have people who have done, they're trying to express themselves. No X. I'm not sure if he's trying to indicate that's a country. I don't know what this is. This looks like a spaceship. Even in people trying to express themselves with art and signs that it means a lot to them. This is Mula, and here again Snoopy. I think it's Snoopy. And this is Peanut. So these are all characters, cartoon characters. And across to the side we have, there's also a path there. Where artists are expressing themselves. Hate. He's saying hate, crossing out love. But most of us know that love is stronger than hate. More powerful gesture in life. So there you are, folks. This is we're back to you, Shippy as the Explorer, and this is a neighborhood. You can see it's a Prince George's Community Center, and where they have also the sports and all that. And across the street you have the Iceville Branch Library, and I would regard this area as very middle class, affluent neighborhood. But in the midst of all this this wealth and new development, we have homelessness. Believe it or not, that is home. Two persons have called this home, and they have lived on this street, whether in this bus stop shed, and they move back and forth from this shed to that corner. And there seems to be 2 people live there. They seem to be quite comfortable in this space, and they have been living there for months. And you would say to yourself, why? Why are they living like that? They seem to be quite comfortable. There's no kitchen that you can see from across the street, where one of the members have gotten something to eat, and so there's no kitchen, no living room, no TV, maybe a phone somewhere hidden in the back. And on the banks of the new development, where we have tranquil water and swimming Canadian geese and fast development, we still have homelessness. Homelessness, folks. Now, are they choosing to live like that? Can they do better? Or it's a problem of circumstances where they're not able to get out from under difficulties of life. Plane, helicopter passes overhead. We'll get out of that noise soon. And before this development took place, even in the back of this area, we had homelessness that took place back in these woods. And as the development has taken over these woods, we find that the homeless population, they have moved out. But now it would be interesting to know that on the banks of this tranquil water, the beauty, there is homelessness. But even my spirit has gravitated to this spot. I can just imagine having a house on top of this ridge that overlooks this water. So even if I was in a tent, I would feel somewhat peaceful. This ridge, and then the this was once called Nine Pond, and the developer might keep this name going. But as I said, you can see where I think it's a marked improvement and what is happening in this region. You can imagine just walking around this path in a few months, watching The animals swim back and forth. Can you imagine living in an apartment that overlooks the waters? Can you imagine worshiping on the ridge that overlooks the waters? But in the midst of that is homelessness, hopelessness, or maybe not hopelessness, because they're even in the midst when you have problems, you're still hoping that one day you'll be out of that misery. You'll pick up your bags and trash them and get back into society and work and pay your tax and pay your bills and live. So in the midst of that, it's back into society. But society is hard to cope with a lot of times. So there's always a potential to skip back out of the bills and the hustle and bustle of life and go back into the box. So where the heart lies, it's home, folks. Case where somebody comes out on the street and with a cup and a sign and they walk and forth and they try to beg for support. Some think it's a trick, some think it's genuine, but I don't know what I think sometimes. Sometimes I give them some money, sometimes I don't. All depends on what I have available, readily available. Because I've seen good and bad in that situation. Now this is an example of quaint old homes. It's called, the area is called Takuma Park, and the homes are quite old with colonial styles, but the economical income of this neighborhood has grown to be quite substantial. Even as a small homes, it's possible that a middle income person lives in it, because we have a gentrification process where the middle class persons, they take over, they move into a neighborhood that is rich, well, not rich, but quaint and somewhat secluded and protected. And so the homes are not too big. Some of them are not too big, but the families, they feel comfortable in these places. Their hearts are here, and where the heart is, it's home. So it's I myself, when I first moved into this country, I lived just 1 block down the street from here, off Carroll Avenue. And my mother was a nurse, so I would regard her as a middle-income person. But we lived in the apartment.
Just ask people along the way.
Now this is a affluent neighborhood, folks. This is the famous Bethesda neighborhood. And I've worked in this area for a number of years, and 30 years ago a lot of these buildings didn't exist, but this is high income area. We talk about Bethesda, a lot of sophistication in terms of profession, income, lifestyle, you know. This is Bethesda, folks. Old Georgetown, Edgemore. So these are apartment complexes where you may or may not, I'm not sure, but you may probably just rent or you purchase one of these condos or apartments. But as I said, it's Bethesda, and it's quite expensive in that area. It's just 40 years ago I worked over here, so I don't even remember the exact route system, but I'm just gonna drive around and see if I can find the end up reaching the high income area where the super rich folks live, so we can compare homes and homes, folks. Just to show you how from one extreme to the next, that's how the housing is varied in this community, this country, and also, surprisingly, the world. And really, when you look at some of the homes in this area, it's not as any some any much. It's not much bigger than, say, Silver Spring or College Park, but the economics, commerce of things tend to separate areas and somewhat establish an area as the high income, and even if the houses are small, we find that they are very expensive because of the jurisdiction in which they fall. This is this NIH? National Institution of Health. That's a famous National Institution of Health. World renowned. So we're fast approaching 495, and that's the highway around the Washington metropolitan area. It's like a circle, folks. So I'll take you onto the highway a bit, and then we're gonna go into a super rich neighborhood, which is Potomac, and that's where we have business owners and developers, super rich folks. Compare those homes. But surprisingly, I haven't been able to see a lot of homelessness wherever I've driven since morning. That's a wonderful sign that that maybe even this area, in this time of the development of the country, maybe the homelessness is not as prevalent. Or maybe it's because it's during the day, then you see the signs of people in need. They are somewhat hidden from the main. So here we are joining. This is where another highway joins this 495 and takes you, it says more or less, the south. Of town. And as long as this tape has been since morning, this is how much, when I first came to the area, I had to take the bus, and it will take me maybe an hour and a half before I reach work over in Potomac, and I was coming from Takuma Park, so it's there's quite an ordeal. 3 buses, folks, before I reach here. And later on I'll talk about maybe I'll do a series on life in America, coming to America, where I'll talk about my early days in this country and what I had to do to survive. But believe it or not, I used to come way over here to Potomac to work in the construction industry, construction field. And some of these roads haven't changed in 30-40 years. So come here and I would swing left. Now in Potomac, surprisingly, this area used to be pasture, cow pasture and all that, and wide open space. Some of it still is wide open, and the homes weren't as large. But in the last 50 years, I couldn't say the rich, because the rich might have been here before. That history I don't know, but they are still the people who have moved in or who are currently here are some, I would say, super rich, and because of the landscape and the large open space, it has allowed people to live in a beautiful setting. wide and big and spacious. That's the little house. It used to be a landmark. My company built this fire station. To have a spring down right here. We used to collect water. Our water was so refreshing until the government blocks it out and says we can't collect water from there anymore. Those of you who are in the Gulf world, Tiger Woods and all that great stuff, this is the area for it, folks. This is the famous Congressional Country Club, where some of the greatest golfers come and play. You can see the schools, elementary schools, how the grounds are lush and green. It's Norwood School. In my old days, I would work down in Bradley Boulevard, and then I come and I swing on River Road. And now, here's where the rich folks live, folks. This is a massive landscape, open space. 4-car, 6-car garages. Oops. This is new since it's a farmer's market. Something new. So, I didn't work on this house. It's a paint. A lot of these homes are sitting on maybe 5 acres of land, maybe 10 acres of land. And as I said, some of the small ones, they still exist. And look at this. Can you believe it? Go to the one house. Looks like 3 houses. Anyway. One thing I know, when I used to work over here, I had a wonderful time, a great crew of work with a great construction crew, and some of the best sandwiches. I can't even see the homes I worked in. I might be able to pick up some of them. So this is Pic Place, and some of the best steak and cheese sandwich I used to get in this area. And even although we have the super rich living in these areas, you have middle income people that intermiddle with the neighborhood, because you need to have a support system, and it's the post office. Potomac need, men need. Here in this neighborhood, you have the meticulous care of the lawn, and so the folks have enough money to employ. There's some of the small homes that still exist. That's a house, folks. Now, how many people you think live in that house? When I work over here, sometime I only see two. Wife and husband, and well, wife and husband, and then we have the maids that would and the lawn care person, you know, professionals that they take care of the lawns. To work in Tara. There we go. Some of the homes are still here. These are the older ones. Big estate, folks. This is how the rich lives. There we go. And the family will come home and they would feel quite comfortable in these areas because their hearts are here, and wherever your heart is, that's home. And this is a new development since I worked over here. So the homes, massive homes on the hill. The woods, the comfort and the quiet, and no noise except the birds and the dogs. And if you have the income, the wealth, then you live accordingly. This is Potomac, folks, and this is Shippy, the explorer, exploring the neighborhood, the rich and the poor. I'm exploring homes, the whole idea of homes. This is one house, folks. One home, and this looks like 3 homes in one. But wow. I've never gone this far. It's quite beautiful. The orchard and all that. All these homes. Sure, not all of them, but most of them, I would imagine, they have their gardener, their professional lawn care folks. They have their maid, the people who takes care of the area. So we are comparing our exploration today.
.umd.edu to learn more.
Is talking about homes. Whether you're homeless, living on the street, you're living in the woods, you're living in a small house, 2 bedrooms, or now you can see some people, they live in these mansions, and some of these houses, there are 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, because I worked in them, so I know some of these homes, the style and the lifestyle. And I'll say it here now, and I probably say it again, that I remember once when I finished constructing or building that house, and we finished cleaning the floors, we wanted a drink of water, so we cleaned our way backwards out the house, and we wanted a drink of water. And believe it or not, folks, the caretaker or the maid would not allow us back into the house to even get a drink of water or to use the bathroom. This is how the lifestyle and some of these people, they live. Not all of them. I guess the workers are very protective of their bosses, so that's what was happening. I think somewhat not lost, but okay. I think I know where I'm at. Imagine all these, to remove all these leaves in the fall, and they have the workers who they do remove them. Look at that. Even look like they have their own bus stop. Marwood. I remember Marwood. I remember working on Tara. So you wouldn't find homelessness necessarily on these streets, folks, because as soon as you start to sleep on these side of these roads, you'll get the police come to scrape you up. So the citizens, the residents in this area, they have greater privileges than poor folks who you know, trying to figure out. So this is Potomac. Potomac area, folks. In this area, not too far from here, we had he's probably, I don't know if he still have the house. It's Sugar Ray, you know, famous boxer. I used to work right beside his house. You know, Sugar Ray, Leonard. You know, you have movie stars. You know, that type of that's the type of clientele you have that lives in this area. And as you go further along, this is the Potomac filtration. So as you get further down into the Potomac area, you're going back into the old farm-looking environment. So I go down into Potomac Lake and see what is down here. Never been down here. So all these little tributaries are a part of the Potomac River, and they drain into the greater river further down the valley. It's a typical Potomac home. Typical neighborhood. Makes you wonder what these people do for a living. But I can tell you from working up here, a lot of them are doctors and lawyers, and if you know the Washington metropolitan here, it's a high percentage of lawyers are in these areas, and of course it's a seat of government, so you have a lot of politicians live in these areas too. But as they come home, hopefully, I'm thinking, hopefully their heart is where they live, and I trust that they are happy in these mansions, as opposed to someone who is living on the side of the road. He or she might also be happy. You never know. Happiness comes in different forms. You don't have to have wealth and and material stuff to be happy. So you never can tell who is happy and who is sad in this world. Some people that live in this area, they can be seemingly they're wealthy, but when they come home and they are probably inside the house, they are not as happy and joyous, you know. So there you go. It's not money that makes you happy. That's another topic. You know, we'll talk about if it's money or love or companionship, or just the spirituality, the fact that you're connected to the greater a greater God, a sense of God, a sense of higher being. So what makes you happy? That's all. There's quite a number of things. It's varied, folks. So as we approach, go back through towards the rich, super rich neighborhood, we have a lot to think about, and we have quite a bit still to contemplate in terms of home and homelessness and the lack of basic things in life. And when you come to the extreme, it's the seemingly opposite to that, where you have others who seem to have more than enough. Cherry blossom trees. I'm sure some of you are wondering what's the price range for these homes, and I can't tell you. I could only encourage you to go into Google and look up the average cost of a home in Greater Potomac, because when I used to work over here, 2-bedroom house, that was 40 years ago. A 2-bedroom house, believe it or not, was $2 million. That was 40 years ago. Can you get, so you can imagine now how much these homes cost. This is an elementary school. You have to drive slowly past it. You can just imagine the cost, the value of these homes. There you go. I can bet you $1 that if you look it up, it's one of those homes are probably $50 million US. Easy. And 40 years ago it was probably maybe 5 or 10. So you can see the investment. If you invest in homes in a proper location, your initial investment can appreciate. That's what's happening, folks. Appreciation. And it's called, in the real estate business, we say location, location, location. So it's, the whole idea is to know where to invest and purchase and live. The trick, that's the trick. Wow. Over there, it's all grown up now. Can't seem to see the full layout of the home. But there was a house over in here that had 12 car garages, and in each garage we had Lamborghini and Ferrari and Mercedes-Benz Mercedes-Benz in this area is nothing. You have to be in this area. You have to have Bentley and you know, Bentley and Lamborghini. The first time I saw a Lamborghini was up here in Potomac. When it's the guy who opened up the car and pressed the button, and the two wings doors open up like two wings. It's quite interesting, folks. Back at the country club. Bethesda Country Club. Yep. And if you notice carefully, a lot of times they don't put the signs on the entrance. So as I approach my old spring location where I used to get a good drink of water right in the valley here, we'll explore some more another area. We used to get the water over here. We call it that water. It was cold as it was like coming off out of the refrigerator until they stop us from drinking the water. Most likely apartment or condominium. Hello folks, this is Shippy the Explorer. Well, we have been venturing and exploring all morning or all day, and we have seen we are exploring home dwelling, and where the heart lies is your home. We have seen homeless, we have seen small homes, we have seen middle-sized homes, and we have seen expensive homes and rich homes. And now in the middle of this we have what they call the Potomac River, and I went on the Maryland side and I didn't pick up anything. I got lost. But the mighty Potomac River on the Maryland side has what they call the Great Falls, and you're in for a surprise. This is what many people come to see, folks, and the great powerful Potomac River. Here we go. So in the middle of this side of the world, and the richness of this side, especially in the Virginia side, we have the mighty Potomac River running through the valley, and it is in full display. And believe it or not, that's over on the Maryland side. I tried to reach over there and couldn't find it. And now, here we are. And this river is running from way up in Virginia, West Virginia, comes down, I think it comes down through Virginia, and it ends in Maryland. And then it picks up back at the end of the Chesapeake Bay. And believe it or not, some folks try to kayak on this mighty river. You see all man trying to conquer nature. There's many people who have tried to swim across or swim up this river. They have lost their life, unfortunately. So they have warned you that when you come to the edges, you stay clear, because believe it or not, this is power, nature's power, folks. And whenever you have rain, you can see where the water level can rise up to another 20-30 feet above this level. So this is another attraction in this valley, where people try to live as close as possible to the river, because there's something about water. I think they say 2/3 of our body is made up of water. We're conceived, well, we conceived in the womb and will live for 9 months in water, and so we have affiliation to water. So, well, except some people like myself, I can't swim, I can't walk on water, so I stay away from the water. I'll observe it from afar, as Shippy the explorer does. take in the sound. Let the sound soothe your soul. Observe the power of its interlocking waves. How majestic is nature. So that's what it is, folks. I'm sure when you see this tape you'll have a lot. Watch it to the end because there's a lot to contemplate and there is a lot to think about in terms of doing something that can better the lives of others and yourself. This is Shippy the Explorer. Thanks for watching, and I'm saying bye for now. The topic is homes of various degrees.